Conference, I move that the Federal Conference confer the honour of life membership of the Australian Education Union on Bernie Shepherd for his exemplary contribution to the Union's affairs and to education generally. Thank you. Susan's going to second that.
Susan's Bernie Shepherd, his granddaughter, is here representing welcome into Federal Conference.
Yeah. Conference, can I begin by paying my respects to the traditional owners, the Boonwurrung people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders, both past and present. And let me just start by saying I'm just incredibly privileged and honoured to be able to second this recommendation for life membership for Bernie Shepherd. Bernie became a member of the New South Wales Teachers Federation in 1964, when he started his career teaching science at high schools in Western Sydney, gaining promotion to head teacher and then deputy principal in 1987. His talents were recognised early and he soon became a curriculum consultant, developing syllabuses in science subjects and delivering professional development for teachers across New South Wales. In 1989, he was appointed to lead the first public senior high school in New South Wales, a position he held for 15 years. He was a foundation member of the New South Wales Board of Studies and has been an indispensable part of curriculum, assessment and standard setting in New South Wales over 2 decades. In his spare time, he was an executive member and later deputy president of the New South Wales Secondary Principals Council, as well as being vice president of the Australian Peak Group. In 2004, Bernie was admitted as a member of the Order of Australia for services to education in Western Sydney and to professional associations. He retired in 2005 and was honoured with life membership of the New South Wales Parents and Citizens Association for his work with the Regional Council of P&C Associations. He is still a member of the New South Wales Teachers Federation and the AEU, Australian College of Educational Leaders and the Australian College of Educators, who awarded him a fellowship in 2006. But perhaps Bernie couldn't understand what retirement is supposed to be. When others took to a life of leisure in retirement, Bernie took it upon himself to work and make a contribution in a different way. As part of his efforts, Bernie single-handedly created a national database from all the financial information on the MySchool website. To extract that information at very low cost and in the face of regular changes to the site has been a significant technological achievement. And I think it demonstrates not only Bernie's ingenuity, but also the depth of his commitment to the cause. Using information from that database, Bernie has undertaken research projects for the AEU that have been critical in advancing the case for a more equitable education system in this country. His research has illuminated 2 things together in a way never previously done: the vast and growing differences in the social composition of public and private schools, and the staggering inequity in overall resourcing between the sectors. Bernie has demonstrated how government funding policies have exacerbated the inequity year after year, rather than addressing it. Along with his great friend, Chris Bonner, Bernie has done much to challenge the conventional orthodoxy in this country about what our policy approach should be in education and the deleterious impact of policies of choice and competition. His work has been impeccable, and his figures never challenged by ACARA. They have created alarm and concern, though, among private school authorities and coalition governments, who have long preferred alternative facts about the funding of Australian schools and the impact of their policies. We have always greatly appreciated the clear and compelling way Bernie has presented his findings for us at conference and in executive meetings, and he has always been willing to speak up in the media. And we owe him a great debt of gratitude. Ask anyone about Bernie Shepherd, and they point to the quality of his work, his relationships and his commitment to young people and to public education, his achievements in teaching for schools and their principals, and in advocacy for what he believes in, are the stuff of legends. He is a true friend and standard bearer for public education and a most worthy recipient of life membership.
So Grandpa couldn't be here, but as you might be able to tell, the family resemblance is quite strong. So I'll be giving you all my best Bernie Shepherd impersonation. I'll try and channel him as much as possible. My apologies in advance if I get a little bit emotional. Both my mother, who is here, and I are products of my grandpa's unwavering passion and dedication to fair and equitable access to education. My mother, as a 16-year-old with a kid, that's generally a pretty dark statistic, but Grandpa did not let that happen. Did not let that happen. Mum was in St Mary's, in that school that he was running. I was in a little bouncer, that's where he taught me how to read. So without him, neither of us would probably be where we are today. So this means a lot as young people growing up in a world that he helped to shape. There's no greater honour or privilege to be able to stand here before you all right now. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to do my Bernie. Colleagues and my comrades, I need to thank this union for many things. Firstly, for this award, which I value most highly, and I'm so sorry that I'm unable to accept it in person. My sorrow is tempered somewhat by having my eldest granddaughter, a denizen and organiser at the Victorian Trades Hall Council, to accept it on my behalf. I need to thank this union, and the New South Wales branch in particular, for their industrial support and principled advocacy for public schools over the almost 55 years of my membership, from trainee to teacher to principal and into retirement. I've been fortunate to work with many great organisers in that time, including one Angelo Gavrilatos, who accomplished extraordinary things in the disadvantaged Mount Druitt area in Sydney, which is where my last school was based. I also need to thank the union, along with the Secondary Principals Council in New South Wales, for supporting me in capturing the My Schools data each year it has been published. The analyses that my colleague Chris Bonner and I have been able to do has provided a unique, independent commentary and factual underpinning to the school funding debate. Most recently, we have been able to demonstrate for the first time that many, if not most, private schools are close to receiving the same amount of government funding as ICSIA equivalent public schools, while still charging fees on top. These findings would have never emerged from government-sourced aggregate data and needed the fine level of detail that is only available on the My School website. During the Gonski and the post-Gonski deliberations, owners of private schools had their peak advocacy bodies to negotiate with government. The owners of public schools, so departments of education around Australia, were largely missing in action during that time. So without the work of this union, even the modest gains public schools have seen from new funding agreements would have been impossible. I commend and I thank this union for that advocacy, and I truly hope that you continue to seek an equitable and evidence-based system of school funding so that every child in this country continues to receive the educational support that they need. At a time when unions are generally struggling to assert their place and their purpose in our social structure, this union has a more complex mandate than most. It must support its members' interests, but it must also support the schools and the public systems in which they work. And it is not too much to say that in doing this, you are all acting to preserve Australia's democracy as well. For all of that, along with my life membership, I thank you and I offer my best wishes for your work in the future.